So this is part 3 of the 2024 Brandex Reviews Christmas special. Previous 2 parts we did some mailbag questions talking about films and so on. This one we're going to get into some of the culture war stuff, but don't let that put you off. We kind of have a bit of a laugh about it as well, so enjoy.
So this is part 3 of the Christmas special where we're just talking about remakes and so on and which one was our favourite. So if you want to go back and see parts 1 and 2, some of this has been a bit random, but some of it's been like quite good. This Christmas, obviously this is Christmas special. We're going to kind of talk a little bit about the year in retrospective in terms of movies and TV shows and so on. I've not really watched a lot of new stuff, to be fair, because it's kind of we're in a bit of a shit phase at the moment for movies and so on. Quality seems to have gone downhill.
Yeah, I'm dealing with kind of like the aftermath of like the lockdowns and all that, where basically nothing was getting fucking made. And then we've also got all the like strikes and shit. And I mean, some of the stuff that's coming out, like that Moana 2, it's like, it wasn't really a film though, was it? It was just like something you were going to shit out on Disney Plus, but you slapped it together into a movie and shoved it in cinemas, and it kind of worked here because people fell for it initially, and then it like viewership dropped off a cliff when people realized it wasn't that good.
Yeah, and also the sort of culture war stuff as well that's going on. It's not just like, oh, well, we don't want to see that. It's just like, no, it has a direct impact with the quality of the movies when you're prioritizing identity over story arcs and the hero's journey. You just basically get a load of weirdos gravitating towards these franchises now because they just see them as like, this is where we can go as a safe space to watch movies with characters that represent us because they're the same as us. It's like, that's very shallow, and it doesn't make for good storytelling, and it doesn't make for inspiring characters outside of your own little bubble, which most people aren't in that bubble. So that's why these films and TV series are kind of tanking in terms of viewership and returns on box office receipts and so on.
Well, when you're hearing about stuff like the Young Turks having to slowly admit that, hang on, maybe we've been full of shit, it's like, well, Jesus, like, seriously, though? Even they're starting to fucking notice?
Yeah, to Chain Kadana, I'm sure you're watching this right now. Obviously not. We're not going to forget we're not going to forget your contribution. You can backtrack all you like. And, you know, I do believe in forgiveness and redemption and so on, but we're not going to forget. That doesn't mean we're going to get like revenge on you. It just means that we're not going to trust you, basically. So that goes for people that follow that kind of nonsense as well. Forgive, maybe forget.
To the point of like basically turning around and calling you like fans and subscribers like horrible, toxic fuckheads we don't want anything to do with. Yeah. I mean, that's worked out super well. That's why the video game journalism is like basically dead. There's like hardly anybody fucking working in it anymore, and what's left is going bust.
Yeah,
like Strange treat you like consumers like shit, and they stop consuming.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, I mean the counterculture that has been, you know, to the message and the wokery and so on. I mean, the last election in the US. I mean, and obviously politics and culture kind of being linked. Politics being downstream from culture. It's one of those things where we'll see what happens in terms of how successful a change in the culture can be when, you know, you've got obviously the recent elections in America, the growing of groups like Reform UK in the UK, obviously. We'll just see how that impacts the culture in terms of just getting back to the actual popular culture stuff, and if that has like a positive effect on that. Obviously, it's not like the main priority.
I would love to think it's going to do that, but there's a part of me that is genuinely worried like it's just going to go the other way. It's like, we didn't want your shit, we don't want their shit either.
Well, I think Disney announced something yesterday about like they were kind of drawing back on some of the identity politics for children, like the, you know, the, as they call it, the not so secret gay agenda, which is fine to have like an agenda and so on. But like when you're kind of throwing it in there in this underhanded way to children, You know, we're not talking about, tolerate people's differences. That's fine, but like when you're trying to say like, what turns you on, little child, it's like that, and doing that without the parents kind of being involved or trying to sneak it in there is a little bit creepy.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like the thing of like you used to be able to just like slap like a Disney movie on, dump your kids in front of it, and then like not have to worry about it for like a couple hours. Now it's like, well, I've got to fucking vet it first to make sure it's not got like, something fucking weird in there.
Yeah, like radical, militant, far left ideologies, and it's not good.
Like, I won't be happy with them watching, what was it, Dawning of a Nation or something. I'm not happy with them watching this either. Just because it's communist and not fucking fascist does not make it okay.
Yeah, you could say the two are the same, but yeah. So let's just see. So obviously, I mean, last year we had some interesting flops with like Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. What did we have this year that was similar to that? I can't remember what came out this year and last year, to be fair. It seems like it's gelling into one. I think Captain Marvel or the Marvels came out back end of last year, didn't it? What were the Disney ones that came out this year? We had the Deadpool. Was what?
I'm just pulling up a list of like films that came out in.
Yeah, do that. I mean, some did alright. Obviously, it was Deadpool and Wolverine, but that was more of a Ryan Reynolds production. That wasn't so much like a Marvel Studios one, or technically it was. So stuff like that are going to be successful. But I think this year they did slow down with a lot of it, like you've said previously, because of the writers' strike and so on. That's had a big effect on what they've been able to bring out as well. But just when you look at the ratioing of some of the trailers for the things that are coming out, like the Snow White movie, if you look at the number of people that have viewed it and the ratio, the like to dislike ratio compared to the honest reaction to, I mean, it's an honest reaction either way, but to the 28 years later trailer, like an overwhelmingly positive response to that. Shows exactly, what people are actually asking for. It's difficult with horror movies in terms of making a lot of money because you kind of, a lot of children will be able to go with the parents, obviously, to see Snow White, so that's extra bums on seats. Whereas with horror movies, you can't as much. But on the flip side, the horror movies don't cost as much to make. So.
A lot of stuff because I'm still scrolling. Like, Jesus.
Yeah. There's been some good stuff. The Penguin series, I'm just past the halfway mark on that one. I really like that, to be fair. I thought it was really good. You only just watched The Batman for the first time this year. That came out in 2022, didn't it? But you said you liked that film. Yeah. I know me and you went to see Ghostbusters Frozen Empire this year as well. We did a review of it at the time. I need to rewatch it. I thought it was pretty good. I didn't think it was amazing, but it was entertaining enough. I didn't have a problem with it. I'm going to watch that on. I think somebody's got me out for Christmas. I can't remember who, but I'm going to rewatch that on Christmas Day. I think if I've get a chance. Alien Romulus, pretty good. A lower budget one.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big ones have been stuff like Deadpool and Wolverine that did pretty good. Wicked, after like a load of controversy, that's been doing all right.
Yeah.
Doom 2.
And you've got any there? Hello, Core. So the Core has decided to leave us. I'll see if he comes back. But yeah, in terms of other movies and so on, Twisters was a very good one. That surprisingly, it's a film. Obviously, people sort of remember.
Just like you say, like Moana, that did really well to begin with, and then just dropped off a cliff.
Right. I don't know if you realise that you vanished. You vanished for quite a long time there. I don't know if you realise that.
Oh, bollocks.
Yeah, I've just been talking because you vanished. I just kind of went off on a side tangent, but was talking about Twisters.
Yeah, that was this year as well.
Yeah, I
Like
think
say,
he
there's been
believes
some good stuff.
Yeah, cool. Did you see Twisters yet?
No, it's one of those I'm waiting for it to come down a bit. I wasn't like a massive fan of the original film, so I'm not like in a huge rush to see the sequel.
Yeah, I need to rewatch the original. I've seen it enough times when it came out, I can remember it quite well, but I haven't watched that probably since the 90s, but I do remember it quite well, and I remember liking it at the time. I went to see Twisters this summer when it came out. I really enjoyed it. I thought it wasn't as good as Top Gun Maverick. Obviously, it's got like one of the same guys who was in that film, hence I'm kind of associated with that, but it was a Spielberg production, and you kind of feel that when you're watching it. And it was a really good film, like really kind of feel good movie, very enjoyable. Surprisingly, because when I'd heard about it, I thought, oh, that's just lame. I was like the premise of it, but I think it was Critical Drinker was talking about it and saying like this is the summer movie that like we want. So on that basis, I watched it and wasn't disappointed. I thought it was really good. So yeah, give that a watch anyway. And the main character is a strong female character who through a lot of the movie upstages the likable male character. And it's not a problem because she's a pretty good character, so it proves it can be done. You can totally do that. You can have like a female lead character that's even like upstages the man like at every opportunity or a lot of opportunities. And it can work.
Like for me, like the very word go, it's like these characters aren't necessarily a problem. The problem is they don't have any fucking character.
Yeah,
it's
this
like,
one did.
I have no problem with like a lead female character. I mean, like that's fucking Alien, basically.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Well,
but they need to be a good character first and foremost, not just like a checklist of like whatever social issue you think needs to be like put front and center.
Yeah, well,
If
exactly.
you make them a completely unlikable bastard at the same time, it's like, well, I don't really care about the other stuff because they're a cunt and I don't like them.
Say what you think, go. So yeah, well, we'll start to wrap this up anyway. But I was going to put in. Obviously, we're actually hanging out this Christmas as well, so I'm looking forward to that. And remember when we did the video messages where the floating core? Will we see a return of the floating core this year?
I mean, you're the one that fucks around with that stuff, so that's kind of a question to you.
To anyone watching that's wondering what the floating core is, I'll just do a flashback to a few years ago.
So the following video was from Christmas 2020. You might remember it wasn't the easiest of time, but I was making a point about how we kept ourselves entertained. In fact, I'll cut to my narration of that, which then cuts into the clips. So the next 2 minutes is from 2020. Enjoy. Or in what's called like a social bubble or whatever. But how did we keep morale going? Well, I personally found ways of entertaining myself just by getting these Facebook video filters on, you know, where you record your video and it distorts your face. I would do that and then suddenly turn the camera on the core when he least expected it. Rest assured, he was not amused. And I caught it all on video. I've compiled a collection. Here it is. Enjoy and Merry Christmas.
Bloody hell, car. It's a baby car. What the hell? I mean, I'm just made alien. Me and the toad at the sea. No, yeah. That must be really great. Yeah. Right, so here we are in Car's kitchen. You can see he's got all these lovely lights up here as well. And where is the car? There is the car. What the hell? Come on, weird. The shrinking car. The car is growing. What the hell? Yes. Unlike the toad. Yep, this is legitimate cue. Yes. Oh. Yes. Oh, dear. I want to fuck off. Yes. For God's sakes, man. I wanted a fish. Yes. It's the claw. The floating claw. Oh, what the hell have you found there? What do you think? I look like Jabba the fucking Hutt. Prepare core, for it is the monster from the White Lagoon and the floating core. Oh, I'm a mongoloid and I found a load more filters. I'm right excited now. Oh, it's me from a battle of you. Yes, it was white. Yes, what the hell? Damn it, doesn't even wear the floating core. What the fuck is that? Can I watch the movie, please, fuckface? Fuck. No, it's the Red Riding Corps. Oh, wait for too long. Little Red Riding Corps. With your hand like to the side as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny at the time. I don't know if we can relive the magic of that, but that was a Christmas memory from the past. We want to keep alive. We're going to make some Buff and Topher jokes. What was the Buff joke you were making before we started recording this?
I've forgotten about this point. I think it was something to do with milk chocolate and Topher having to improvise the milk.
That's good enough. Yeah, sorry.
It's weird. I didn't know this was salted caramel. It doesn't taste very caramelly, just very salty. And Topher's like, right.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so most Christmas gifts are gold, frankincense, and myrrh. But this year, I'll be bringing around some Ferrero Rochers to the cause.
Well, with these Rochers, you're really spoiling us.
The Topher's reception is noted in society for his exquisite taste. Yeah, no, it's been all right this year. He's had some ups and downs and so on, but no, kind of ending it happily enough and optimistic about next year and so on a number of levels. So movies that are coming out next year. I can't remember if I started with this at the beginning of part one, but I think we've got there's not a trailer yet, but there's a Top Gun. Oh no, there is a trailer, isn't there? I think from memory. For is it Not Dead Reckoning Part 2 is what it was going to be called. Yeah, I can't remember what they're actually calling it now, but it's basically the sequel to the last one. I mean, obviously every film's a sequel, but these two are kind of a bit more linked together than any of the other Mission Impossible films that have come so far. And it's a shame that last film didn't do as well as it could have done because it was good. It just the timing of when they released it, with Oppenheimer coming out, and it was an IMAX movie, so Oppenheimer took the film out of cinemas. So for a number of reasons, and obviously calling it part one didn't help because people aren't going to want to see half a movie, which isn't what it is, but it just comes across that way, right from the title.
I think that's also the problem every time they tried to get one of these cinematic universes off the ground. It's like people weren't particularly aiming for that when they got it from Marvel, and then by the time it was going, they were kind of into it. Nobody looks at the latest slop from DC or whatever and goes oh yes, I want to get invested in this universe. It's like, oh, for fuck's sake, not again.
Yeah, well, there's a Superman movie out next year. James Gunn is directing. He did the Guardians of the Galaxy movies.
I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping good things, but I don't know. I'm kind of done.
Yeah, I'm a hard
that. Marvel was kind of propping the whole thing up, and now Marvel's turned to shit. So it's like, well, again, I don't know if they might have just left it way too late to fucking course correct.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I don't see why I'd be interested in it. That's the only superhero franchise, if it's even that. I suppose it is the Batman, the Matt Reeves one. I've been enjoying the Penguin series, and I'm not usually into TV series that spin off from movies, but it's a pretty good one. This. Other movies, there's the 28 Years Later, and I keep mentioning that one, but that does look very good. I'm hoping it is. I believe they've shot 2 movies already back to back. And Nia DaCosta, I think she's called, directed the Marvels, so that's a bit concerning. Is doing the second one. Danny Boyle's doing the fourth film technically, but Danny Boyle's done the 28 Years Later. And from the trailer, it looks really good. And that isn't Cillian Murphy's character that you see in the trailer, the zombie that kind of sits up and just looks like a rotting skeleton. Apparently, it's not him. Somebody that worked on the movie has come out and said that that's definitely not him. I don't think they would do. I don't know. They might do that. They might go in some direction like that, but And that's got Aaron Taylor Johnson in as well, and he's a really good actor. So that's the kind of thing I'd like to see him in, rather than see him like as a throwaway, like James Bond or something. See him in like films like that would be pretty good. But yeah, so anything else from the core before we wrap this one up for Christmas?
Merry Christmas, you bastards.
Well, yeah. So yeah, it's probably the last video we do of the year. I mean, we've kind of slowed down doing videos. We'll try to do more next year. I've had a few ideas for how to do things a bit more consistently, but it's been a lot of stuff going on with me in the last couple of months. Not in a bad way, but just kind of haven't really been in this sort of mind space to do videos and so on. But hopefully we'll turn that around in the new year. We always go through phases on this channel. There's usually like a few months where we don't do anything, and then we kind of come back doing one every week or something. So yeah. Merry Christmas to everyone. I don't know when this video is going to go out. I'll try and get it in the last few days before Christmas. And it's been a bit of a long 3-part, like an hour-long video pretty much all together there. So, yeah, we'll call it a day. And Merry Christmas, everyone.